Let's see how many takes this takes. Hello, everybody. It's your friend, Diana Moon, MediaPunker extraordinaire. Bet you were surprised to see a video. It's been about 2 years since I last uploaded something, and about 3 years since I last did a state of video, where, as if you've been here long enough, you've seen the broken promises of me creating content and uploading more often, either here on YouTube or on my Twitch channel, XDynamoonX. I believe I've done quite a couple of streams casually in the past few years, and I always meant to, for majority of them, to have them on YouTube, but a lot of things has happened. For those of you who do follow me on social media or know me in real life, before the Panny D happened, before all that happened in January of last year, 2020, I was doing things. I was a guest of honor at OrcaCon, which is a lovely inclusive tabletop gaming convention out in Washington, not near Seattle. I've already forgotten. I think Bellevue. Apologies, Donna. Doing this off the cuff. I don't have a script or even a notepad of notes. I wanted to do this more organically, but yeah. So was on a couple of really great panels. Was doing a few things in the industry, and I was setting goals. I was working on editing old videos for the Reclaimers, which is the all POC RPG stream that I am a part of, that runs on I Need Diverse Games Twitch channel, twitch.tv/INDG, every Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific time. Still going on, mind you. I was editing the old videos so that we could have them uploaded for reference for everybody, and I was also editing all the videos I had recorded for my channel, old videos, and just to get them uploaded and done. And I was doing personal goals also. One of them that happened in January after OrcaCon was rebuilding the bond between me and my older brother. One of my older brothers. I have two older brothers. Not that there was anything to really rebuild. It's just that he was always doing his own thing. He had his own life and everything, and I had gotten a feeling last year, which was 2019, to want to be closer and all that. And so in January I went to go to my his son's basketball game. I didn't know at the time that would be the last time I would ever see him alive. For those of you who don't know, my brother Louis passed away in early February of 2020, weeks before everything locked down, weeks before the United States believed, oh, maybe COVID is a thing that we should worry about. The real unfortunate thing is we don't know what caused my brother to lose unconscious. We just know that the paramedics were too late. And that's likely they were able to revive him, but he was in a coma for about a week or two, but there was nothing left. And this was just after I was finally getting to a place with my grandmother, as also some of you know. I honestly don't even remember if I mentioned it in the last state of about my grandmother passing. I had finally gotten to a good place with that when I lost my brother, and that broke everything. The only benefit of quarantine was I had an excuse to not leave bed for months and months at a time, and my only solace were a bunch of my online friends. Most of my real life friends are the people that I made friendships with in person. Obviously, because of quarantine, we couldn't see each other, but most of them aren't on social media beyond Facebook, and I never really used Facebook other than for those friends who weren't anywhere else, like Twitter or Twitch or Discord or YouTube or other apps, essentially. But I grew closer to another set of friends. I put everything into tabletop RPGing, just like not just the Sunday show, but I did a lot of RPs for some playtest RPs, but mostly I hung in the Good Society server, or the Storybrewers server, the official server for the game Good Society, where I've made a lot of really good friends there and took my mind off of that. That and Witcher fandom. Witcher fandom grabbed me um, around June or so, and I just got sucked in. And I only watched Witcher because of the person I was dating in January, not for very long, was a big Witcher fan, and we both watched the first episode together when the show finally came out. But yeah, that pretty much sustained me for most of last year. Um, wasn't Did a couple streams also just to get my mind off of things. Mainly just playing a couple of point and click games, and I did a bunch of how do you call it, like RPG dev kind of writing streams, editing streams that were kind of boring, but at least it helped me uh, focus on things. And I was still doing classes full time because I was very close to finishing a couple of certificates, getting an associate's. I managed to get a couple of associates, not associates. Managed to get a couple of certificates for like social justice work, for LGBT work, for um, broadcasting. My main major at City College was for broadcasting, and because my goal was, I've always, as some of you know, had a multi-tiered attack plan for getting in the video game industry. If it wasn't going to be for writing, hopefully streaming. If it wasn't going to be for streaming, then like media producing, live stream producing, or before the pandemic, doing convention work and such. And I've done a bunch of all of that. And so video editing and streaming, and because I like all of that, I like being creative. Um, I like putting together videos. This is pretty basic. No frills, no fancy intro animation like last time. Mainly because also what happened last year was at the end of the summer, my computer burned out. I was in the process of backing everything up because I was realizing, oh, the brand new SSD I'd bought, not just like a year or two prior, um, stopped working, but unfortunately I didn't finish the backup and the computer broke, and I lost majority of my video files, my editing stuff, from the last like 6-7 years. We were able to recover some of it. I have yet bothered to look through the recovery drive for that stuff, to see if even all the stuff that I was editing for my YouTube channel, for as old as they would be by this point, just to have it up as an archive. I have no idea if they survived. I was only able to recover whatever wasn't on a certain hard drive, or wasn't on the SSD that I had moved onto originally. So, yeah, that happened. I had to get a new computer. My new computer is better. I have a better graphics card now, better everything. So it's store bought. If anybody's curious, I didn't have the patience nor really the money required to like build up one. I was doing piece by piece upgrading with the previous computer. Unfortunately, I just bought a really shitty SSD. Um, and yeah. uh, so that also happened with schoolwork. I needed a computer because most of my schoolwork had to do with video editing. I couldn't wait on that, you know. But it has been real tough, and I'm still not well with the passing of my brother. I've done everything I can to keep busy, to make money. I've been granted a lot of really fantastic opportunities since since the PAX West video and the PAX West thing that Latinx in gaming did, that offered me, definitely gave me opportunities from that, and I'll speak about that shortly. I did drop the ball for a couple of opportunities I had initiated, but honestly, I was still grieving for my grandmother, and then my brother happened, and you can only do so much. I am lucky enough and privileged enough that I can still rely on my parents. That's what got me through quarantine. That I could just stay home. Um, for pretty much, I stayed home for almost all of 2020 because my parents were essential workers at a grocery store, and so they still went to work. They still made money, enough money to keep a roof over our heads. We didn't have to worry about that. We didn't have to worry about food. So I'm very lucky in that respect, and I understand that. And it allowed me to like focus on schoolwork, focus on what I was working towards. Um, but it's been difficult, and it still is extremely difficult. I go a little bit more in detail with this more personal stuff in on my Facebook, which I almost closed all of last year. I was thinking just close it. I couldn't bear to look at it, mainly because it just had memories of my brothers that I didn't have, from other people, and it had posts from my friends, my real life friends. I don't know what better way to call them, but living their lives, having babies, um, getting engaged, or stuff like that, stuff that it's never gonna happen to me. Um, and none of it was making me. I mean, I'm generally happy for them, but none of that was gonna make me feel better. So I just stuck to Twitter, with my other online friends, and even though they shared their happiness too, but there was like a layer removed from that, and just doing Twitter things like we all joked about through all of quarantine, doom scrolling or non-doom scrolling, and just focusing on other things, honestly. But it's been a year and a half now, almost. When this video is released, it'll be my birthday. I'll be 38. There'll be 2 birthdays past my brother, and 3 past my grandmother. And I've accomplished quite a bit, but there still feels like I haven't done enough, and I think that's just the way we all think of ourselves, especially those of us in this industry, or similar industries, where it's we're always wanting to push ourselves. It's hustle. It's that hustle mentality, but I am very proud of what I've managed to accomplish. I'm very proud of all my friends and acquaintances and just people I have had the privilege to talk to, doing so much out there, not just for advocating for diversity and inclusion, but just like, advocating for themselves, for getting these fantastic deals, shooting their shots, and seeing them be recognized. It's been so fantastic. Like the other day, someone I've known since we were 5 years old got to sing the national anthem at a baseball park, in the baseball stadium. And granted, it wasn't full because it's still, COVID precautions, but to be able to watch them do that, and it was amazing. It was, I was blown away by it, having to see Honey, who will always be Alpha to me, honest. But I know for some people I'll always be a different name to them when we were growing up, because we've known each other, for so long. But just, it was amazing to see them have this opportunity to sing out there. And I only wish it could have been on TV. I didn't realize until that point that the national anthems are never shown on TV when you watch baseball games. Don't know why, but it was, I'm really happy for them and what they're doing, and just everybody else lately, especially like Tanya and DJ and Eugenio and so many other wonderful people just making it, you know. And I mean and I'm sure they still feel the same, like, you know, hustle mentality of like, oh, it's not enough, gotta keep going. And I wish all of us could just have a chance to take a break, and have a proper vacation and not have to worry about the next deadline. But unfortunately, that's just the way that this particular industry and culture is. We have to worry about the next deadline. Um, but I'm not abandoning this channel. I still, like a year ago when when I was editing and put in ready to put like a whole series of things up, even if they were old, and then start some new things. That's still the goal. Probably won't be until maybe closer to the end of the year that you'll see anything. I might do a bit of revamping of what's here already. Might have a little bit more priority to possibly, I haven't decided yet, to Twitch streaming and revamping there. It's been easy for me to just stream when I'm doing some dev work that's not under NDA, mainly my stuff. But we'll see. But let me talk about the accomplishments that I have managed to do since PAX West, which was in 2019. And again, thank you for Latinx in Gaming for giving me the opportunity. They're a great organization. There's great people that, and I'm proud to know in person. It's just I was approached. There's a lot of companies, and it's when they're big companies, it's very difficult. Like, they're all valid criticisms that you might have, that or you do have, of like them not doing enough when it comes to anything not white and not straight. And so I just keep adjusting my headphone because it keeps wanting to fall out. But there are at least smaller teams within that are at least attempting and trying to. So one of those teams was at Paizo. I was approached to offer some work for their Starfinder. What's the word I'm looking for? Their Starfinder product, I guess. And so I was given the opportunity to create 3 fantastic aliens for Alien Archive 4, which came out finally in late December 2020 or early January 2021. I cannot remember anymore, because what is time? And so I'm so happy that they gave me the chance to work on that. And I did my best to present some Latinx flavor, some a little subtle, some a little not subtle, into those 3 aliens. So this is a reason why, well, one, I didn't want to have a full screen, but this is partially the reason why there's like this space here, because the only fancy editing I'm going to do is just add probably the covers of what I'm talking about. We'll see, depending on how much energy I have. I might just post it up like this, and so me pointing that way will just show nothing. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not doing anything fancy right now, editing wise. So there was that, and then I was approached to, I do, as some of you know, and I'm keep saying that phrase, I apologize, that I do consultancy work. I do sensitivity editing and cultural consultant reading and editing for both RPGs and video games. I've done in the past Verdant Skies. I was the Latinx consultant for their Latinx characters. For Girl Underground and Lost Roads, which are RPGs, I was a general cultural consultant for their RPG books, which hopefully you'll see side by side or one after the other right there. Play tested, obviously, a bunch of games. And then I was approached by Ubisoft with referrals. Thank you again, Tanya. I've appreciated everything you've done for not just me, but for everybody, and just all the hard work. And considering when this will come up, if you have not checked her documentary that Queen Latifah helped produce, it's Game Changers, called Game Changers. It's on BET. I'll probably have a link, if not immediately when this gets put up, within a day or so, in the description. depending on my energy levels, which I'll talk about why I have, amongst the grief, varying energy levels. Um, but yeah, that is fantastic to see that and see the recognition finally for her. Um, but yeah, for Ubisoft to be a Latinx and queer consultant for Far Cry 6, which I'm very happy to be able to say, because for the longest I could not say anything until, they finally announced the game and what the game is, and I'm very excited to see. And there's so much that they have not shown yet that I have not seen in an action video game before, and I really appreciate the care that the narrative director and the team that I talked, the few of the others that I did talk to, of what they wanted to do to represent not just Latinx but like other identities in the game, and I'm really proud to have been a part of that. So um, there is that. There is. I also got approached for doing professional GMing for Magpie Games. The Magpie Games is a, I wouldn't say independent company, but I guess kind of. I've never really thought about it. That produces powered by the apocalypse. Not all powered by, but majority powered by the apocalypse games such as Bluebeard's Bride, Masks, Urban Shadows, Cartel, Passion de las Pasiones. I was approached in August ish around that time to see if I wanted to become part of their curated play program, and I was like, yeah, sure. Was nerve wracking at first because I've only played Masks. I never GM'd it, and I've been doing that ever since. Fluctuating, took a couple months off because again, grief was overwhelming. But it has been such a fantastic ride. Like, because of just that GMing, I've gotten a couple of other opportunities. I've gotten a couple of writing opportunities from it, which I don't think I can still talk about, but I am very excited to be part of a supplemental that will be coming out. I'm not sure when, but eventually it'll be coming out. So I'm really glad. And with that particular supplemental, I was able to honor my brother in it. And however it turns out, no matter what, I'll be very happy with that. And I can't wait. I can't wait to show that to everybody. So I've gotten work for that. I also am working with WotC, aka Wizard of the Coast, on something, again, cultural consultants kind of thing, which I cannot, beyond that, say anything else. Sorry. Probably not going to edit this too much, so I won't cut out. Usually I tend to edit my dead airs parts where my mind just go, what am I talking about again? I'll probably just leave this in. But yeah, so I have that. I still have the I Need to Verse Gaming Reclaimers. For a second I was forgetting the name of our own show. The Reclaimers on Sundays. That's still going on fantastically. We've played some wonderful games where some new games that are like still like in Kickstarter, that were just like recently Kickstarter, so it was like a quick start kind of thing. I GM'd a fantastic like campaign of Happiest Apocalypse on Earth, which is basically Disneyland but Cthulhu. I mean, it's apt because my favorite Goosebumps book has always been Welcome to Horrorland, and so I'm still very pleased as punch with the creepiness and stuff I did in that game. Um, I've done some moderation. I am now one of the main moderators for Magpie's Discord, which has been fantastic. Everyone at Magpie is so lovely, and I'm really glad that I've had the opportunity to get to know them a lot better. I feel like I'm forget. There's one thing I'm keeping last, but I feel like I'm forgetting a couple other things I've done. Oh yeah, I've helped produce a couple of things from the school I attend for both the BEMA department and the fashion department, where because of COVID they can't do fashion shows and cannot present the senior projects. So for 2 years in a row, I helped co-stream, um, well, technically live stream produced the fashion show as a virtual event, and that has been an interesting experience. This last one we got last minute sponsored by Macy's, which was fantastic. Thank you, Macy's, for that. We appreciate it. And my hair keeps parting right here. Ooh, sorry. Uh, so I've been doing that. I'm also still a live stream producer for Music Expo, which is this fantastic company that tries to teach musicians and aspiring audio engineers like what to do, like how to network, and all that. And they switched to an all virtual stance for now, obviously because of the penny. And so I've been host producing their weekly events on YouTube, YouTube Live, and just recently did a whole 2-day Latin Music Expo with them about that, and that has been fantastic and wild. Meeting some of these like well-known musicians in Latin American countries and sound engineers that's worked on popular singers like albums and such. It's like wow, you know. So that's been enjoyable, and working on my own games for RPG games, which hopefully I'll get done soon with a couple of them. Been playtesting a few of those. But the other, I feel like I'm still forgetting like one or two things. um, but I think anything else is still under NDA, so it's not like I can talk about it, even if I could remember what they were. But the last thing is I was happily approached. Again, I'm really grateful for all of these opportunities that people send my way. I was approached by a company to apply for their community management position for a brand new game. I applied, went through the vigorous multi interview, which is new for me. I've never gotten past the first interview because whatever reasons, or there was only one interview and then they decided. But yeah, I now have a job, not just contract work, which I'm still doing a lot of contract work. But I now am the community manager for Project Curie, which is a new game with their own team, not taking from the previous team of Star Stable Online. And Star Stable Online, if you're kind of like me, because it's a niche thing, never heard of them before, they are celebrating their 10 years being online, young girls multiplayer game about horses. Not just regular horses, magical horses. So if you're into horses and you want to have horses and pets and have a really fun and social engaging experience, Star Stable Online. It seems like a really fantastic community, but yeah, they're making they want to expand. 10 years is a good time for a video game, especially for an online video game. And they're expanding to something different, something not horse related. And I'm going to be a part of that. And I have been a part of that for the past month or so. And that's been exciting. They are in Sweden, so this is where the energy thing comes in. And I refuse to leave San Francisco. I will never leave here if I can help it. So I'm working what I call the graveyard shift right now. Just a few hours at a time for now until other things settle. And I think that's really all I can say about that. But it's an adjustment. I mean, I'm a night owl. I'm up till 1-2 a.m. easily. 3-4 sometimes if I get sucked into to a fanfic, or if I'm actually writing or producing something. Easy. It's different though when you have to spend those hours actually working and being productive because you're being paid to be, and then still and consistently up, and then Sorry if the mic picked that up. That was the window. Um, Making a weird noise. So, but I still have stuff I have to do for family or my other obligations from contract stuff in the daytime. So my energy has been up and down. I'm still getting adjusted. I was hoping for June. I tend to attempt to stream at least once or twice for Pride, and try to raise some money. I've only because they're usually last minute. I don't tend to raise too much money, but I have raised at least a little bit, and so I'm always happy for every little bit I can do. Um, but at the very least, I will mention this Saturday I will be on a charity stream. It's not me hosting it, but I will be on a charity stream, and let me get that information to at least be in this video. Ba, 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 ba. It's part of go_JG's Twitch. They are doing. See, this is what I mean about being like doing everything off the cuff. And like I said, I'm not going to edit all the dead air stuff. But yeah, I don't want to get this wrong, so that's why I'm doing this. So yeah, Saturday, June 26th, for the 3rd annual Tabletop Gamers Day, raising funds for Rainbow Railroad. Jess has been fantastic in setting this up, organizing it for a full day of tabletop games. And they're going to be giving away the Roll20 module for Thirsty Sword Lesbians, which is a fun game. I got a chance to play a couple of sessions of that before it was officially out. Not necessarily playtesting, but because Kickstarter people got to have it before it was officially out. So that was Thirsty Sword Lesbians is fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm really excited to. That's not the game I'm playing on Saturday, but I'm really excited to play more of that in the future. But yeah, they'll be giving out free copies of that, and there's going to be games from like Ignite, which is Superstar Racetrack Drivers. There's They Came to Play Ball, a baseball inspired, I think, based on the name, game. And then some Thirsty Sword Lesbians will be played. And believe we're ending off with the one I'm going to be in, which will be 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, so 6:30 my time. We'll be playing Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites, a game of intimacy and monster love. And I'm really excited. I've never played this game before. It looks like it's going to be some like casual socialness. I get to pretend I know how to pick up people as a monster in a gay club. Well, we don't know if it's going to be a gay club, but in a setting. So that will be fun. And we're raising money, So I'm very excited for that. I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping to get a couple of streams up. If at the very least, if they're not game dev streams, at least a couple of fun queer game streams. So yes, there is that. There is mainly me focusing on this new job, which I'm really happy to be a part of. Again, some great people. I'm working with some people I've worked in at other jobs. When I had a small stint at a couple of different mobile game companies here in the city, not in the city, here in the Bay Area. Very interesting experiences. I'm glad to be out of those experiences. But yeah, that's what I'll say about that. I am hoping to once I get into a rhythm, I think I'll be able to figure out what my streaming schedule is going to be. I'll eventually will look at my backup hard drive and see what videos did get saved, if any, and get those up at least. If not, if they didn't get saved, whatever, even as old as they are, I'm one of those people I'm also a fanfic writer, so a work in progress will forever stay a work in progress. It'll never be abandoned. It'll just forever stay a work in progress. As I say, with a 15-year-old work in progress Sailor Moon fanfic and Escaflowne fanfic. But I will get those up. I do want to make new content for my YouTube. My mindset from this past year has been more of being creative, being more hands-on-y. I've kind of got sucked into the idea of bullet journaling and do-it-yourself craft making. I've bought so many things to related to those two things, and I want to do them on stream or as a YouTube video. Really, I've made one really pretty thing and in the progress of making another pretty thing. And since it's right here, I'll showcase one of the ones I made. Hopefully, if the green screen doesn't key it all out and I don't drop it. Cool, it doesn't get fully greened out. But this is a tiered pen and implements holder, and I've painted it, which is getting keyed out, of course, into looking like a forest, and it has a rotating, although poorly rotating, like green floor. So it rotates. Apparently, for do-it-yourself stuff, they recommend putting marbles. Didn't have any marbles, so I did another way to do it. I would like to produce some of those, like maybe if anyone's interested in a how-to tutorial of that, because I would like to make more. I collect the shot glasses, plastic, used for cake shooters, not actual alcohol, to make some of those, just to see if I can improve on the design and all that. I learned a lot making that one. And I do have one of the other projects I did abandon last year was I was going to revamp my book review site. I was going to get back into it, go back into reading and getting into book reviews of many different things. And in this whole bullet journal thing, I found out, oh, there's a whole book bullet journal thing I could be doing too. And then kind of getting into like watching BookTube. And I realized, I think I want to try that. So there might be a new channel that might come up. I'm going to give myself the time of the next few months to see. This whole getting a job thing was not in my plan. I'm very happy for it. I'm very gracious for it. It was not in my plan to get it to fun. It was in my plan. I was applying to things. I just didn't expect anything to come of it, essentially. And, well, yeah. So I do plan to stream more. I do plan to put content semi-regularly back here on the YouTubes. Have a new channel that I'm working on. And the other thing I'm also working on is a podcast, because everyone has to at least try a podcast once. I did make a podcast episode once for one of my classes, and it was an idea that I really liked that had always hoped to make into an actual podcast. I still might. We'll see. Sorry, sometimes, your thought just flies away from you. Which had to do about Latinx representation in media and everything. If I ever get back to it, fantastic. If not, like I said, I created that one for the assignment for the audio class. But the podcast I was thinking of, and it's been in my brain for a really long time, especially after I had mentioned it to the Story Brewers Discord, and people were messaging me like, hey, if you do it, can I guest on it? So it seems like it has some legs. I'll give you the teaser for the title of the podcast is We Don't Even Go Here. So I'd love to see what you guys think it's about. Originally I wanted So What Happened Was, but that just seemed very gangly, and even though technically, I mean, maybe the title of the first episode would be that, So What Happened Was, but it just didn't. I love it. It's a fun phrase that everybody knows, but I was just like, for a podcast to be called that, I just like We Don't Even Go Here a lot better. I think that has a little bit more weight to it. So I'm hopefully going to be working on that. If you haven't noticed, in all my other previous videos, I use a headset. I still use it. I was gifted, thankfully, from Logitech through I Need Diverse Games for the Reclaimers. We were gifted Blue Yeti microphones, the Yeti X. I appreciate it so much. That's what I'm using. Where I live, I cannot control the sound like most streamers and content creators can. So if it doesn't sound much better than what I've, used before. Sorry, audio consistently is the one thing I cannot understand as a science. Um, at the very least, I managed to fix it so that you don't hear the fan when I'm not talking. You might hear it while I'm talking, but at least you don't hear it when I'm not. You will hear everything else that goes by our window, though. But yeah, I figured for this video I would use this instead. And I kind of buried the lead. I wanted to say in the beginning of this video that I'm dressed up because, like I said, you'll get this video on my birthday. And I wanted to look nice. And that's why some of this is getting keyed out, because I'm wearing a really lovely rainbow striped top that my mother gave me. And these flowers Maria gave me, which I love so much. They were off my wish list. So I appreciate it. And thank you again, Maria. But what else? So yeah, so those are the plans I have. I still want to content create. I still want to produce. I got a couple of, I want to finish the 3 game ideas and get them into a more feasible state. One of them is produced because it was made for a game jam about 2 years ago, which is Secrets We Tell Ourselves, which is an emotional queer mecha inspired game. Very intimate game. It's only to be played with 3 people, or 4 if you want to have some sort of facilitator type. It's very rough, but the playtesters have enjoyed it, so there's something there. And then I have a couple other ones that I've been meaning to work on, and hopefully I'll have the energy for that again. I owe fanfic to certain communities, and yeah, I think that's it. This was not necessarily a state of the MediaPunker. This was more a state of the me. I don't know if I'll ever get to a place that I was before. I don't think that's possible. I remember when I was grieving for my grandmother, there was a lovely article I read through Lit Daily, I think, about grief and how it manifests, and it made sense, and like how to write and how to pursue your writing through like past that grief and everything, and it made sense for my grandmother. I don't think it's gonna make sense for my brother. We'll see. But I still want to create. It's what I'm happiest. I'm happiest in creating stuff and in showcasing stuff to the world. I mean, that's really what my passion is to show, like, look at this awesome thing that either I created or someone else created that I think is really cool. And I love GMing. I'm such an improv pantser. I never plan for anything, which is in a sense sometimes bad. Does not work for Dungeons and Dragons, which is probably why I'll never GM Dungeons and Dragons by myself. I may do some Dungeons and Dragons like one shots with someone else who knows the mechanics, being like, hey, that's what you're supposed to do. Because my brain can only handle so much, and honestly, I'd rather focus on like PBTA style or narrative first style games in my brain. I would love to play some more Dungeons and Dragons. I would love to play some more Pathfinder. I may GM Starfinder, because one thing that was fun when researching Starfinder, because I knew of Starfinder and Pathfinder, but I've never looked at it beyond like anything until I had to write 3 aliens for it. One of them being an alien you can become. If I feel like it, I'll show the pictures of them. I might not, for reasons, personal reasons, but I still might, because it's still, my name's in books, published books, with ISBN numbers, not just like, local made stuff. That's fantastic. Side note, one of the great things about working for this new company is there are very passionate, Star Stable fans. And I've seen this for other things. It was just wild to see that some Star Stable fan has made a video. I want to say conspiracy, but it's not a conspiracy video. It's just a video of them speculating, what is Project Curie? And they went through like, the current opening job and stuff and speculated from there. And on the job page, there's a meet the team section, and I've already been added to it, my photo and a blurb I created. And the blurb all had to relate to what we like about either Star Stable as our team or about the game, and I made it about the player. And it was just kind of funny to see them use my lines to be like, oh, like really get really enthusiastic about it, which is partly why I wrote it that way, but I just didn't expect a video to happen. So there's a video out there with 15,000 plus views. Oh, that's the other thing I did. Speaking of views, with my face and my quote on it, and that's just wild to see, like inadvertently, and I think that's really cool. The other thing I did this year, with the lovely patience of one of my former teachers, enjoying my editing work, I created a couple of social media ads for Laney College for their lab department. There's a specific name, and it's just blanked. And it was really fun creating like a 30-second and 60-second YouTube ad, Instagram ad. The 30-second ad, if I remember correctly, was the one I posted first. Got over like 50,000 views in 2 weeks, of it being published in December, and that's fantastic, and wild. And I think it's still on their YouTube channel because and if it is, I'll link it below if you're interested. It's nothing super fancy. It was limited to like stock images, and some interviews. If I were able to do this in a post, there's no such thing as pre-pandemic world, we would have gotten a lot of like different types of shots and everything. But I'm still really happy with it. So yeah, that was the other thing I did. I might do some more video editing work for social media spots like that. We'll see. I still really love the channel intro video I made, the trailer I made, even though it's vastly out of date, and I don't know if I had much else to really add to it since then, other than us laughing at ourselves and on the reclaimers. Yeah, if I could just have my job and just RP all day, either as a player or as a GM, and have those streamed, I'd be very happy. And then, doing the consultancy work on the side, because that's very fulfilling too. But yeah, I think that's everything. I've been talking at you for almost an hour. I appreciate all the people who've stayed subscribed or who follow me on Twitter. That's where I'm most active. At Diana Moon. I'm only X Diana Moon X here, Instagram, and YouTube. Instagram, I don't know if I'll ever get more more use out of, because that I usually use it for personal things and whenever I would go out, and I don't go out anymore. Hopefully that will change. We'll see. I thank everybody who's helped me get to where I am. Hopefully I can still pay it forward. Yeah. Feliz cumpleaños to me. I hope y'all have a great day, a great summer. And I'll see you in the next video. Diana Moon says.